I always love this waiting.
Oh, it's like, are we on? Are we not on?
And then you watch the replay later and it's like, yeah, you were already on. There we are. We're on.
We're good.
So we were talking and you guys were watching, and welcome to the Insiders with Liz and Amber. We are so grateful for you to join us again today, brought to you by Giant TV and Very Paranormal Network. I have to keep remembering to say that because we're so lucky to have them on board as well.
Absolutely.
Amber, today we are so close. Like we're like the clock is ticking. We're so close to Christmas. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I have had lots of time to cleanse and to clear energy because that's super important. You know, how are you doing? How's everything going with your energy?
So, like it's kind of crazy town right now. So I'm doing my very, very best. My husband just yelled out, yeah, it is crazy town in here.
I think everybody's going to say like,
right? Yeah. So just trying to like, and so like the weird thing is like the normal Christmas stress, getting gifts or getting around and seeing everybody, getting your groceries in, all of that stuff's done. It's just the energy you can taste it. Like the energy's weird this year, right? Like I think we're all feeling it. But I wanted to talk about specifically how we are reacting to that energy, right? So an example, you know, yesterday I was out in my car and I thought, how am I going to word this today? Because, you know, it's kind of an intense situation. Well, it's not intense. It was intense in the moment. So I pulled out and there was a lineup of cars already lined up at the lights, but the lineup went way beyond where I was pulling out. So I had to get out of the spot I was in into the street. And then you put your indicator on because I need to get over. So I look at the guy, like I didn't drive down to the lights and try and get in there. I stopped right where I was. There was room for people to get around me. And I said to the guy, like I kind of went, hey, can I get in front of you? And he's like, no. What? I know. And I thought, wow, okay. You're clearly in a much bigger hurry than I am. And I wasn't really in a hurry. I had lots of time to get to the school to pick the kids up, but it was that immediate no. And his face and his aggression and everything. And I thought, okay, so I could take that and hang on to that like I would have in the past, like, wow, and then I would have been angry with everybody else and the whole series of events could happen, right? We're all experiencing that right now. People are overwhelmed and stressed, and you see it in stores. I don't go in them very often, but when I've been in them, I've seen it. So how about you? Are you getting any of that stuff too?
Yeah, you know, I think in general, you know, over the years, just trying to put up boundaries and have an honor system with my own energy and to keep the integrity of my own energy up. So, you know, years ago as a young empath, I would have immediately felt like a personal attack was happening. Not that I actually understood it that way, but now I understand like that's what I was doing. I was internalizing or taking it personal, like this person is doing this about me. But over the years, I've really learned to not like connect to that energy or anybody's energy for anything. So I think that, yes, I've been noticing, but I also feel like what my big thing was to not pay attention to those ones. Like anybody who's creating a negative energy space around me, I don't even give them that that energy. So I focus on, oh my goodness, look what the goodness came out of this, because that helps me. So focusing on the gratitude or the blessings or the good things that are going on, but that is something that you have to intentionally do. Like I have to intentionally say that every day, because you can easily, and if you're not feeling good, like, you know, if you're not feeling good physically, then it's easier to forget and it's harder to actually maintain that. But yeah, I notice it a lot, but I just kind of make sure that I'm still focused on don't engage, like don't engage, like goodbye.
So like the go-to, the habitual lessons that we've all learned, the go-to feeling and emotion is whoa. Like when somebody does something, it's like whoa, right? But I actually went, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Like that's okay, thank you.
Yes.
You go ahead. And the next guy behind him let me in.
Yeah.
But the point being was, I didn't need to get all upset and uptight and aggressive. One of the things I've learned in travel, just traveling, for all of you who are, stressing about being on the roads or just getting through holiday traffic and all of that kind of nonsense. The universe is not delaying you because it feels like it. Okay. The delays are happening on purpose. And if you can just, every time you're delayed or restricted from something or held back from something, recognize that it's part of the plan for you. The universe is working for you, not against you. And that's a big doozy of a lesson. It took me like thousands of years to get that, I'm sure. Previous lifetimes, many previous of lifetimes, and I'm finally just having the awareness now, right?
I always think about it as, I've explained this to my kids as they're growing up and becoming drivers. I said to them, I said, if you could imagine that while you're in your vehicle and someone else is in theirs, that your reactions and how you have your road etiquette would, think about it. If you're okay doing that, then you would be okay with doing it in the grocery store lineup. So if you can yell into someone's face, scream, give them the finger, swear because somebody walked in front of you, or you guys pulled up your carts at the same time, is that something that you're triggered to in that moment? Or is it now that you've gotten into the vehicle space, that space allows us to go, our energy ascends, it takes us to a different space because you're not consciously in the moment. So you're reacting to what is on your mind and on your, like in your ego at that moment in the vehicle. It gives you that sense of safe space to be able to unleash that ego of whatever's happening. So if you're thinking about something that's weighing on your mind, you're going to react or behave in such a way. If you had a great time and somebody else has just done something good for you, you're going to let everybody else in. So I've always said to them, think about your reactions and behavior while you're driving. If you're okay to do that face to face to somebody in a store, then it's not as easy if you think about it that way.
That's right. And another thing I should point out, for those of you who are watching who just did that type of, energy release, lost it on a stranger, whatever, because we've all been there. We've all gotten overwhelmed on some level in our life and been inappropriate. Don't take that and like sit on it and be depressed about it. Just recognize now that that's part of your MO, right? Like it's part of your reactive behavior. So being conscious of it, that you have that, that undisciplined, reactive behavior, is just being consciously aware that you have that is part of the plan. And if you do react, you can always apologize after. I mean, it's not, I mean, it doesn't happen overnight. That's what I guess I'm trying to say. So I don't want people to be going, oh my gosh, so Liz and Amber are, like they can remain calm in a situation. I'm going to be very clear. I can lose it just like the best of us. But I'm constantly bringing awareness to myself. So, and when we're pulled in different directions, especially empaths like us and like you watching or listening, you can feel the strangeness of it. Like it takes you out of body sometimes, and you're already assuming other people's energy or other people's behavior or what have you. So just be conscious of it and just do your best every day. Just reset the button every day. Don't be guilty about stuff you've done in the past. Just do better today.
Mm-hmm. And it's harder to do that. It is harder. It's an art. You have to learn it and refine it, because other people will be placed in your path to trigger those things so that you get those lessons or you get the opportunity to teach. So in those moments, grace is everything, because you can't control what other people perceive or what other people say or do, but you can control how you respond to it. So you know how when you send an email, you have the option to say, don't actually send for 10 seconds, because people usually say things and then think, oh my God, I wish I hadn't.
I did not know that was an option, Amber.
Absolutely, Liz. I will set you up with that too. I will help you fix that, because I have it just because I think, oh, I forgot to add something to it. Like I always think I said this and, oh, I should have added that. So I've added that delay. So you can say cancel and open it back up, and then you can send it off again.
Wow.
And I actually, that was something that I took away from a role that I worked with this gentleman, and he said that to me, and I was like, that's a great idea. So I learned that from him. But he taught me lots of things. That guy, he taught me lots of things, which was really good. And I that was one good thing. Anyways, back to my point. You can do that send thing, but when you're applying that to your reaction verbally, or even sometimes physically, imagine that pause button, like take 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, and then figure out how you can overcome, because what you were just talking about is that energy burst, because like ultimately things create energy, and in order to release it, we cry, we laugh, we have different responses to release energy. A lot of times after I'm doing energy work, I have to pee. Like I just have to go to the bathroom. And because it's just like releasing. And before I was like, this is so annoying. Like it's like so annoying. But when I realized that is the whole release process, and sometimes I'll burst into laughter because it's that energy. So that's no different than you guys, like humans, all of us responding to something. We might be surprised, like you say, an outer body experience of, you're where did this come from? Because now I'm taking the energy of that person, the situation, the environment, myself, and it's all mixed up, and it's very hard. So if you can hit pause for a moment, then you can try to breathe through it, because it's no joke. Breathing actually helps you concentrate and get back down to source.
Yeah, it absolutely does. Absolutely. Yeah, no, there's like, I think it's just taking a step back, and like this time of year is overwhelming for a multitude of reasons for everybody. And if we could just step back from taking personally other people's behavior on any level, anytime, anywhere, not just around the holidays, but just taking people's behavior personally, that in of itself was such a huge aha awareness for me. Now it doesn't always immediately click in. It can be there can be a couple of second delay there, and I count myself and go, it's not personal. It's just them. It's just them releasing whatever is going on with them. Try and take that stance before you default to the reactive. I think my daughter works in retail. My best friend works in retail, and the stories I hear are just shocking to me, right? These people are working during a pandemic and you're yelling at them. Mm-hmm. I don't get it, but I get it. I get it because you're under duress and stress, whoever's doing that. And for whatever reason, these people don't seem like people to you, right? Yeah. So
well, they become part of the entity. So highly sensitive people, and especially empaths, what they do is we associate energy with an entity, a person, or a thing. So for instance, when we feel like we're taking something personally, or a loved one or a friend or a stranger does something that's not in line with your integrity or your value or belief system, that is ultimately you've created that link of energy because you're in the same space, or you've had the same family or whatever. So you've now taken that on as your own energy, which means that what they're doing is directly impacting or reflecting upon you, because empaths tend to not know how to separate that. So when highly sensitive people are in this, they will say that person that's in the store is a part of that conglomerate, right? Like that's that thing. So they become part of it. That's why they use terms like you guys, or these people, or when you did this, and they're not really talking about the person, they're talking about the entity. But they will put that energy and lump it all together, and then it becomes like distinctively cut off. So now my energy is against your energy. But empaths and like highly sensitive people to energy will not know that they're doing it in that sense. So if you can understand it as the only person you're responsible for is you, that's it. You, one bubble, one person, that's it. So anything else, whether it's your child, your parent, your whatever, you have to separate the energy from that safely with love, because if you're connected to too much, that's the overwhelm, stress, unleashing burden that you're experiencing. So kind of make sure you're always envisioning yourself as one separate person in one ball of energy, and do what you need to do to make sure that you're separate from that.
That's a great advice there. And another thing can be cutting cords with people. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, or if you're around highly volatile energy or sad, whatever it is, you can cut the cords to that. And when I say cutting cords, I'm talking about, imagine an invisible umbilical cord coming out of your belly button, and that's attaching to everybody that's around you. So I personally, my practice when I go into any kind of store is I cut the cord before I even leave the car. I cut the cord, if I'm in front of somebody and they're bothering me, and that they won't get the hint that, it's time to stop, I will do this chopping motion down by my belly button to cut cords.
Yeah.
And it's, there's lots of different, but I like the bubble idea. That's a really good one, keeping your energy in a bubble.
I do glass cleaner. This is so crazy. I've never actually shared this with anybody, but I hate sticky floors and I hate fingerprints on windows and mirrors. Hate it. Like it just drives me nuts, right? So of course we have, cats, we have little grandchildren, we've had lots of kids, it's bound to happen.
Yeah.
But the way that I always associated it visually, because of course, when you're doing energy clearing, cutting, whatever, dissolving, it's visualizing. That's all you're doing. Like you could just say it out loud and it happens. But if you need to do something like what you're suggesting, that's the visualization part, which helps the energy go. But mine was thinking every time I connect to somebody else's energy, they have left a handprint on my glass. So my glass being my aura. So what happens is I always think, do I want that person touching my glass? No. So then I back up. So then now they're not touching my glass. But if it's someone like, my husband or my friends or, whatever, they're touching my glass, which means that at the end of the day or at the end of the transaction, the energetic transaction, I'm, spraying the glass cleaner, wiping it down, and that's all clear. So that's what I do visually to kind of make sure my energy stays clear.
That is brilliant. I may adopt that. That doesn't sound crazy at all. That sounds brilliant. Like if there are people right now going, oh my gosh, that's brilliant, all around the internet.
I hate glass that is so sticky and gross. And that's what I felt like, was that sometimes you just feel gross after you've had too much energy, right? Exhausted, tired, drained, or cranky. So it's like, okay, clear the glass. It's all nice and see-through now.
Yeah, exactly. No, that makes perfect sense. So I love that. And I love the idea of being in control and taking our power back and cleaning our own aura. I love it.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Brilliant, Amber. Just brilliant.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that I think we also need to address is that we're always in our own power and our own control. And this feeling of, things are out of control. I don't have enough. I'm not supported. Nobody loves me, which tends to creep up at this time of year for a lot of people. They will find fault in a lot of parts of their lives because they don't feel like they were adequate or they didn't save enough or whatever it is. And I just want to put it out there to remind you all that this time of year is not, I always used it because I was a single mom. So I had to really pull miracles out of hats a lot of times just to cover bills and, But Christmas time was always a stressful time. The first 2 years were. And then I discovered, oh, I can actually start buying stuff at Boxing Day and be ready for Christmas. And then I played the old game with my head. Oh, but she's not going to get modern toys. She's not going to get the in toy because I'm getting it now. But you know, you always save enough to just get that one thing that they always ask for, right? But we can, if we prepare and organize and, you know, schedule things, like have a schedule in our lives, life just becomes so much easier. And you know, if you haven't done it for this year and you're in that place right now, let it go. There's nothing you can do to change it. Let it go and make, you know, when you can make it, Christmas isn't about purchasing things anyway, but like a lot of people do stress over finances at this time of year, but make this part of your 2021 plan to be more consciously aware of your finances so that you're not in a position that is leaving you overwhelmed and stressed. Now, easy to say that we're in a pandemic, right? People are losing jobs, places are shutting down. I get all of that. But where there's a will, there's a way. And as a single mom, I'm old poor. I understand poor, you know? So there are ways in which we can sell items. It's just like lots of different things. Like, don't ever feel you cannot get to that goal because you don't have the finances. Get creative. Keep asking yourself, what else haven't I tried? What else haven't I tried?
Yeah,
And you
well,
get there.
look at this. Like what 2020 has taught everybody is that monetary things do not matter. It's the connection, it's family. I mean, I have been hearing left, right, and center how much people hated getting together with family functions. And now this year, those same people are saying, oh my God, I can't believe I can't be there. I can't do this. It really puts things into perspective. So maybe they're more personal items, and those are the things. And let me tell you something, the kids that are coming up now, that generation, they want those things that are, you know, no one else has, or something personalized.
Yes.
So, you know, don't put so much stock on it. It has to be the way you're expecting or wanting it to be, you know, like look at it from their perspective. But, you know, ultimately at the end of the day, people can do exchanges as well. I can exchange my service for your service, or your product for my product, or whatever. So there's lots of different ways to come up with things and to do stuff. And this is just on an everyday basis. Like, you know, if there's people out there that need something for, you know, birthdays, or just simply buying something because you're starting a new job and you need new clothes, like try to figure out to look outside the box, because like you say, it doesn't have to be the traditional sense of that marketing and kind of high anticipation expectation of what you're doing to have everything new or everything made for you. You can do it yourself. And that's, you know, again, the call of this time of year, which is also, how do you know how to sew? Do you know how to do your own oil changes? Do you know how to change a tire? Like, are you learning how to fix something that's broken? So these are the things that we became very outside of and dependent on other people to do. When you're starting to learn them to make sure you can be self-sufficient now, you ultimately end up becoming more aware of the things that you have a skill to do, which can create more income for you. So really start to think, you know, if I was always in a Monday to Friday 9 to 5 office job and that's no longer available anywhere, well, what do you like to do? What do you want to do? What do you think you have to offer? And try there.
It brings us back to the universe is working for you. I've had some experiences where I lost a job back in the day. And I also left a job that was, you know, very lucrative and great, you know, great title, all of that kind of stuff. And the things that I learned from those two quite different experiences, one was removed from me and one I chose to leave, was the decision to go or to change. It was uncomfortable either way. There was really no difference in the uncomfortableness of it. Even though I wanted to go, I was resistant to leave. The job that I lost, I was not happy in any way. So like I kind of manifested that, right? So we find that, you know, whenever we're really adamant about, I hate this job, I don't want to get up every day, that, you know, you're going to probably put it out there that you know, it's time to move on. And that's usually the universe going, hey, Liz, wake up. You're not supposed to be doing this anymore. So if you're finding yourself in those positions, ask yourself early on, what is my passion? What do I desire? You know, I ask people that all the time, Amber, and they never know.
Mm-hmm.
What is it you want? What do you want?
They don't know what they want. And at some point I didn't either. But when you take apart the trying to please others and getting the right answer from what they think is right. So if you force someone to say, okay, just what do you like? What do you want? What do you want? Just forget about everybody else and everything else. You usually can come up with an answer fairly quickly. But if you add the, okay, I have to have the right answer, or people are going to think I'm crazy, or you can't earn from this. So that goes back to your belief systems, because when we deal with all the stuff we're talking about today, we're talking about our wounded inner child. We're talking about our ego. We're talking about our higher self, our soul. All of those things are creating all of this and how we respond, react to our human experience. So that's why working on it and learning more about you will help your experience easier, right?
Yeah. So I suppose we should wrap things up, Amber, because I'm looking at the time. We have a busy day today, girlfriend.
Yes, day has flown by.
But we're not gonna be doing a show next Friday because it's Christmas, and we'll probably take 2 weeks off. I'm thinking, Amber. Yeah.
We'll see you in January.
Yeah. So we'll see you again in January. In the meantime, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you're celebrating. Exactly. We love you guys, and Happy New Year if we don't chime in before then. Yeah. And just be kind to one another.
Guys, like this video and share it, and you will be entered to win Sean Leonard's book. We have a book to give away, and you will also, if you share it more than once or to tag somebody in it, then you will also be entered to win one ticket to Lisa Scriven's Heaven for the Holidays. So you better get on that, because I'm pretty sure that we've got that to be done. So if you guys are sharing, tagging, and liking this post, you will be entered to win one of those 2 items. And I'll get on and I'll announce this on Sunday, so that you have a couple days to do it and enter. And Sunday we will announce the winner before the end of the day. Perfect. See you, everybody.
Bye, everyone.